I started doing some research and was intrigued by what I was learning, and I felt like I need to know how this works. And I just thought, students really need some guidance.
In the studio with us today is Diana North, an academic support specialist who is going to talk about a workshop that she created about artificial intelligence and how it can help students in the classroom. How did you come about wanting to create a workshop like this?
Well, one day an instructor came to my office and was kind of frustrated that some of the students had submitted papers that showed AI, and she was just kind of telling me how she felt about all of that. So, of course, I always suggest come to the Writing Center. And it got me thinking. I had been on 2 task forces for AI, and I just thought, students really need some guidance. And that's kind of the whole purpose of my work, is helping students. And so I started doing some research after avoiding it for a number of months, and was intrigued by what I was learning, and I felt like I need to know how this works and how well it works and play with some of the different platforms. So I did that, and then just started creating a workshop that I would hope in the future would help students understand what is AI, how do you use it properly, in regarding essays specifically.
Mm-hmm. What platforms do you focus on?
I wasn't so much focused on any one. I played a lot with ChatGPT because I think that, it's a free version and it's popular, but I went through several of them and I can't think of them right now. But my point was to play with the different ones that were creating words, paragraphs, essays, things like that. I specifically wanted it for essay writing because that's my wheelhouse as, professional tutor, writer, journalist, and what I do in my role now as well is I will coach students that are having struggles for whatever reason with their writing. It can intimidate a lot of people. So, that was, my goal was specifically, this is just focused on writing an essay. And that can mean anything from doing research on a topic to trying to come up with a thesis statement. Right. How do I do that?
Well, so much of what we learn in language anyway starts with an essay anyway. So, they could take these lessons, I'm assuming, and extrapolate them over like a research paper or sort of any kind of academic writing.
Sure. Yeah, they certainly could. And my goal here wasn't to say you should use it, you shouldn't use it. It's more kind of warning them to make sure that they adhere to their instructor guidelines, that when they do use it, they're not just copying and pasting, because that's no good. But I actually walk them through the process of using it correctly and what they have to do on their end to make this work. It gets into specific detail and like how you might ask, say, a platform to say, give me a thesis statement. And I have an example of one where AI sort of gets it right. It kind of does, but it's not great. And then I show them the next step where now you take this information and you write it in your own words so that they can see the finished product. So I try to get specific just so that they understand how to do it correctly.
And just so you're clear, this is not an anti-AI type thing where you feel like, or even a pro-AI thing. You're just kind of, this is emerging. This is starting to show up in the classroom. We need to learn how to manage it, more or less.
Absolutely not for or against. As a journalist, again, I want to be fair. And personally, I had some struggles with it. I was not thrilled, but I thought, who better than me to do it? I do caution them very strongly to make sure that they follow the rules for their course. And I want to make that clear to them, things about academic cheating and all of that stuff, because we want them to avoid it. And if they aren't shown specifically how you should use it, they risk getting flagged for AI
unintentionally or
yes.
unwittingly.
Yes, and I don't want that to happen. It happens. So I do caution them, but really the rest of it is about, here's some of the things you can use AI for, and here are the ways you can use it, and it's okay.
As much as you can, walk me through the workshop and kind of explain to me what they learn and what the value you think the workshop has.
what the good news is here is that it can actually be used as a tool for students to improve their writing in general. And I saw that by working with it myself. So that's something I mentioned overall, that, hey, this can actually, for example, this is just an example. A lot of students have a hard time brainstorming an idea. I tell them, why wait? Why stare at the blank page? Why not just get on there and play around with whatever your instructor's giving you and come up with some ideas, get excited about them, and it usually will get them writing sooner. So that's one just overall thing. But what I do is I first go over the, pros and cons, weaknesses of it, the strengths of it, when and how you're supposed to use it according to your instructor guidelines. And then I go into the actual, okay, here we are, we're going to do an essay about such and such a thing. And of course I pick cycling because it's my favorite. And so I put something out there, and AI generated an example for me, actually 3 of them. And so I go from there. I kind of walk them through, how would you get started? You want to start with having a clear thesis, and then going down through the paragraph, creating a paragraph and how to do that. Citing your sources is in there also, APA and MLA, depending what the student needs. And, just how to make an essay better with the assistance of AI rather than just leaning on AI to do it all for you. Mm-hmm. Because I also show them an example of, I put something in there about accidents and cycling accidents in Houston, and it gave me back this thing, because we've done these things, the accidents there's far fewer accidents in the city of Houston. And then I pull up the next slide, which is what I got the real research on, is actually no, accidents are up 10%. So it just to show them, hey, just because AI generated it doesn't make it good.
It's not perfect.
Yes.
At any point in the workshop, do you kind of talk about, because now that we have AI that's appearing in content, they have these tools that they use to try to detect AI. I mean, do you kind of tell these students, like, your material is going to be evaluated, so you need to be prepared for that in case, you decide to use it, or if the teacher allows it or doesn't allow it?
I absolutely do. Yes. And it's kind of woven in there by the examples that I give. But yes, that is concerning. And these workshops, they're 30 minutes, and we'll be rolling this one out in fall semester. I will stress that. And I do talk about, hey, the checkers of AI, similarly to the plagiarism platforms, they are problematic. And we know the AI is changing and growing and getting more sophisticated over time, so they need to know that as well. I think that's important not only for students, but for everyone on campus, just to understand that, we don't want students to get unfairly flagged for things, but we also want to teach them how to avoid it in the first place, if at all possible.
How can a student attend this workshop? I mean, how often are y'all going to host it? Where can they sign up for it? How can they learn more about it?
Starting the fall semester, we already have the Student Success Series workshops. This will be in the rotation.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, I'm hoping early September, I can roll out the first one. Ways to sign up. So there's flyers everywhere with QR codes. They can literally come in as a walk-in if they want. I mean, I'll be there, so they can
So even if they don't go to a workshop, they can still get some instruction in it from the Learning Lab?
Yes, they can. But to sign up for it, they can even come into the Learning Lab and say, hey, I want to sign up, or I just want to attend. I see that we put flyers out, and we also have a billboard out there kind of thing that says, we are offering these workshops. So we advertise it, and like I said, it's open to anyone. We started this mostly for students who were maybe struggling in classes, but it's campus-wide. Anyone can attend.
Well, thanks for coming today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
To read about these stories and more, visit allencollege.edu/news.